Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. We got the next installment of the Star Wars 2 Hype Saga up in here, man. We got ZackTTG, Why I'm Leaving 2 Hype, response to Mopi and TD, man. So, we've heard from, from LSK, we've heard from TD, we've heard from Mopi, Jesser, Jidel. We now have Zach right here, here to clear things up. On his end of things. Like I said, guys, going into this, man, I'm going to try my best not to be biased or anything like that. We're going to hear the man out, hear his side of the story, and yeah, just kind of go from there. So let's get it. If you guys don't mind, drop that like, and of course, subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, here we go.
All right, y'all, in this video, I'm going to address the situation going on right now between me and my group 2 Hype and Tyler, aka Mopi. There's already been like a lot of back and forth, he said, she said, but it's not my objective here. I'm not going to attack anyone or try to put anyone down, and I'm not gonna make up any lame excuses for what I've done like I have in the past. I'm gonna have receipts on screen, and I also referenced Jesse's video throughout mine a couple times, so make sure you guys go watch that if you haven't yet. Some of the things I'm gonna talk about, there's no way to have a receipt, like there's no tangible evidence, and there's gonna be times where it's just my interpretation of a situation. But I'm just here to refute the lies that he says in his video and give context to the half-truths, tell my side of things, but also take accountability and apologize for the wrongs that I did do. I'll be addressing the TD video too.
Okay, I mean, I do respect that right off the bat, like how he wants to handle things right here. It sounds like he's not going to point every single finger right back at Mopi and be like, this is everything you did wrong. It sounds like he's also going to say, like there is mistakes that I made, which is no doubt from both sides of the group. So that's why I do like to hear in these type of videos. It's like we know what your thoughts are on like what the other guy did. Like, you got to own up and kind of, like, represent, like, what you did wrong and, maybe not try to, like, turn it around or anything like that, but just kind of say, like, hey, man, like, I wasn't perfect. So, yeah, I do respect that right off the bat.
And talk about the situation with him and Lowe's.
As much as Crispy Flakes respect goes.
So if you're just here for the Tyler situation, you don't have to sit through the whole thing. But I do encourage you to watch this video all the way through, as it does all tie in together. So I'm going to jump into this, start with Tyler's video. I'm not going to address every detail, because a lot of it has to do with the other guys, and honestly what he says about me directly is mostly circumstantial. I'm going to show clips from his video and then talk about them, and I will say some of them will be excerpts or cut down, but that's not an attempt to manipulate them. That's just me being compendious.
Hey, word of the day,
watch this video, manipulate. You'll know the context. And I'll be cutting out the dead spaces when I talk or start to ramble, just to keep this video as concise as I can. So first up, we have the cease and desist that he shows here in the beginning.
They sent me a cease and desist letter. So I do need to be careful with what I'm saying because they're threatening to sue me. I've literally only said L-Hype and I'll be making a video and they're already sending me a cease and desist letter. Like, what does that tell you? Like,
so he starts out here with a half-truth, and for somebody that wants to accuse us of manipulation, you literally manipulated this situation right here to try to make us look bad. Like Jesse already said in his video, you and your dad threatened us with legal action on November 21st, almost a month before this was sent, causing us to get a lawyer to protect ourselves. And a cease and desist is not a lawsuit. We did not file a lawsuit against you. It's merely a warning not to disparage us or 2 Hype as a collective. And the only way to have a case for defamation is if the statements made are in fact false. So we were basically saying...
By the way, guys, I'm going to say straight up, like, I don't plan on pausing too much in this video just because I do feel like we're going to hear a lot of things that I heavily discussed, in the other, like, response videos and stuff. So just kind of a heads up, man. Like, if you already checked it out and stuff, like, I'm obviously going to have, like, opinions and everything, but I don't know if it's gonna be no damn hour-long video like normal. Just give you like cease and desist, like resist. I can't say the damn word. Sorry, can't say the word. Cease and resist, desist. I don't know, man. I'm gonna call it the Little Caesars or something, bro. I kind of already have my opinions on that, and I will say from both sides' perspective, like if there was already legal things going on behind the scenes, then a cease and resist, seemed like it was a good move from 2 Hype's part. Like, if that was just, strictly... And it's all really your interpretation of why that was utilized, right? And it sounds like there was stuff going on before. Legal stuff, with Mopi's side, where it's like, okay, like, let's keep this personal right now, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Hey, we saw the insult you tweeted. We saw you were making a video. Don't lie about us online or in that video, which you proceeded to do anyway, but that's besides the point.
Moving on to Zach, he's just one of the fakest people I know, like, so manipulative. They make you, like, hate who they hate, and you only hear their side, and then once you get out, you can hear the other side and be mind blown at how shit actually is because you only hear their manipulative fake side.
This statement's pretty ironic within itself because that's literally what you're doing with this video, trying to get people to hate us without knowing both sides of the story. And I never once told you or anyone else in the group not to talk to anyone or not to associate with anyone. You can talk to whoever you want to. I don't give a shit. It's not my concern. And it's funny how you attack Chris and call him manipulative for telling you to unfollow people he doesn't fuck with anymore, when you did the same exact thing to his girlfriend and other girlfriends in the house when you asked them to unfollow your ex when y'all split up. Chris's girlfriend didn't listen to you, so you sent her a long message, immediately screenshotted it and sent it to Chris and tried to convince him that...
Yeah, in the end of the day, when it comes down to situations like this, like, we all got to make our own choices. But you can see collectively from both sides where, you know, being in a group, I mean, that's just like the unfortunate circumstance is that is that unless you're friends with both sides and like you're around both sides all the time, it's like you're never really going to get your full story out. There's been cases in my personal life where it's just like, you know, there was a side to the story that people needed to hear out and they just never did. And sometimes people just they just don't want, they want to believe what they believe, and that's it. And it really sucks. But that's just a fault with humanity, I think.
He needed to force her to unfollow your ex because it was disrespectful.
Bro, I feel like I got damn like elbow in my throat or something.
Chris,
Big
but
Bird.
the sentiment is the same. And I'm not trying to undermine your feelings here on the situation. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy.
Like earlier this year, I received terrible jokes from Chris and Zach. Like terrible. Like I can't even talk about them. And caused so much pain. Like, and I was already in such a bad place this year. And it's on me that I didn't tell them to stop. The only time the joke stopped after a period of time when I said I was taking a mental break and not being a part of videos. Then they immediately stopped. That's what it takes for them to stop, I guess.
Now, the jokes that he's talking about were never made. And no, it wasn't anything anti-Semitic like I've had people accuse me of now because of the ambiguity in what he said just there. And I can't get into detail about what he's accusing me of without telling his personal business, which I will not do. He says I made them earlier in the year and they miraculously stopped when he told us he was taking his first week-long break, which was June 14th during the weekly meeting that we have every Sunday as a group. But I didn't hear about these jokes until December 13th when I went to talk to him in person after he told Jesse that I made these jokes and that he's hated me ever since.
Wait, what are the jokes?
The jokes he's accusing me of are 100% not made. And this isn't something that can be proved or disproved with evidence as it was supposedly in person. But bro, I just wish you would have come to me back when you thought I said it instead of waiting almost a year and pretending to be cool with me the whole time. Like, we could have squashed it way back then.
Okay, so, I mean... Like this, I don't even really know what to make of this, because I mean, I don't know what the jokes are. You know, it's like we do know that Mopi gets made fun of and stuff like that by the group. You know, like the short jokes or whatever like that, which I'm pretty sure he's taller than me, or at least the same height. But yeah, if there was like deeper, like actual hurtful things going on, I mean, we don't know what they are, so it's really hard to comment about it. But I do know that friend groups, like, you know, sometimes they can take a little bit too far. Like, sometimes, you know, there's some people watching this video being like me and my bros, like, we rag on each other all the time and stuff like that, which is, you know, it's really just perspective. I know for me personally, there's been times in my life where I had, like, friends, and there were jokes that probably got out of hand, where you look back on and you're like, yeah, I was actually really mean to that guy today, and you feel really bad about it. But sometimes it's in the moment where it's meant just as like a joke. So, you know, jokes definitely, especially in this era too, can definitely be just misinterpreted. Interpreted? Is that a word? Yes, it is. Continue.
Including making me seem mentally unstable, which Jesse, Chris, and Zach have already participated in. Like, Zach was retweeting like mental illness stuff, and it's just like, it's such a joke.
Another lie here. I don't joke about mental illness, as it's something I deal with myself. And I never once tried to make you seem mentally unstable online. And the retweet that he's talking about is this one here that was tweeted on December 12th, the same day that we won the Streamy Award. I first retweeted this tweet here from our 2Hype account as soon as it was posted, and was scrolling through Twitter, looking at people celebrating with us. Saw her tweet, the shit resonated with me.
Look at Cash.
I figured there were other people out there that follow me that might need to hear it, so I just retweeted it. And Tyler, you didn't even tweet until over an hour after all this happened. It had nothing to do with you, bro.
And I'll never forgive Chris and Zach for turning Jesser into the person he is. Like, he's lived with them for too long, and like I feel pain in myself as a friend that I couldn't do more for him and help him out. But between Chris, Zach, and James, like, there's nothing I could do really. I mean, I probably could have done more, but I just have to accept it and move on and just know I can't do anything now.
First of all, bro, Jesse's only lived with me a year longer than you have, and that was in the old 2K house. And at that time, I was still doing electrical engineering, so I was barely ever home. I'm proud of the man Jesse's become. He's done nothing but mature and succeed since the day I met him. And when he bought his house and moved out, he literally told you that you could live with him when our lease ended in Calabasas. It's like you expect this dude to just fuck around and play video games with you all the time, like when you guys were kids. But at some point, bro, people grow up. He's
Damn,
multiple
bro. Damn, man. Ooh, okay. I guess, you know, once again, looking at both sides of it, like, I do think Mopi in his situation has to accept, like, Jesser, you know, is like this big time. I mean, he's a big time YouTuber, and like you will even go as far as saying like a big time business person. Like, I'm sure I know he's got like his clothing brands or anything like that too. But also on the other side of things, like if you see your friend become extremely successful but losing themselves in the process, then that's also, you know, a big time problem too. So I mean, I think we as people towards our friends, you have to root for their success. But also, being that successful person, you don't want to lose yourself in the process. So, you know, if he was losing himself, then you can see where Mopi would be kind of, you know, very hurt by that too.
This is, he's grinding, and it's unfair that you take that as him not caring about you anymore. You just want to blame everyone else around you for how you're feeling instead of looking in the mirror and figuring out what you need to do.
Knowing how they talk to
but the environment's a big part of it too.
Helping them out, and like, it's just. It needs to stop.
I mean, if you're looking in the mirror and you see your surroundings as nothing but, you know, toxicity, then yeah, I mean, you can only look in that mirror for so long before you got to, you know, get back to your reality. So
I've never talked bad to an editor or anybody else that's ever helped me with a video in any way. And the only editor we've ever had a problem with is this dude here, who's literally a disgruntled ex-employee that used to work for Jesse, but he was constantly late with videos. He was using that his PC specs weren't good enough as an excuse. So Jesse went out and spent thousands of dollars to buy him a brand new PC.
Damn.
Never asked him to repay it, but he was still late with videos even after that. So he replaced him. Then we hired him for the 2Hype channel when we first started it in the summer of 2019. And he wasn't performing there, still repeatedly late, getting us like first drafts of the videos and full videos. So he got replaced again. And it's also worth mentioning that this dude inquired about working for Jesse's second channel again when he was looking for editors this past summer. That makes no sense. If we were such shitty people, he wouldn't want to deal with us again.
I've been numbing myself and hurting myself for a while. And yeah, I've been abusing the sauce, the devil's lettuce. I'm not saying the word for demonetization or whatever, but yeah, I've been abusing that.
Man, it's January now,
nicotine,
so CPM don't
exist.
exist.
Past year, alcohol, like really badly. And it got so bad this year, and I tried to quit so many times. I tried to get help. You know, I put like this text, like this is a great example of the kind of support these guys offer as friends. Talking about starting a drinking problem and stopping it, and just trying to get better. And then everybody only has time to just like it, like just thumbs up. Not a single word of encouragement or anything. And just goes back to talking about video shit. And it's like, okay, cool, great support. And then we got Jesser over here immediately texting me after once he sees that for me to be in his sponsored video. Like, I hadn't talked about these issues I've been having. And then he doesn't even acknowledge it.
At the end of this clip, he says, I haven't talked about these issues I've been having, which is true. At that point, we didn't know that he had a substance abuse problem. He was just like anybody else that casually smoked and drank. Now, he did do it more than anyone else in the house, but
it's hard to
wasn't
see
out of the ordinary because he had
to see.
always done it more than anyone else in the house since the day he moved in. Now, in the clip, he shows this message of him giving us a heads up that he was taking another week off, and he tries to say that we didn't show any support at all besides liking the text. Now, just for reference, this was the second time that he extended his break. And like I said earlier, it started June 14th when he told us he was going to take a week off to get like a mental break, take care of some personal administrative stuff,
right,
and try to get off nicotine and alcohol. And the next Sunday, June 21st, he said he needed one more week off, and he ended up coming back at the end of June when he made the flight video, and he was a part of a few of our personal channel videos. And as you can see from the date of the text, he tells us this Friday, July 3rd, that he's planning to take another week off. So this was the third week. He took 2 off in June, kind of came back at the end. He wasn't feeling it, so he decided to take another break, which is completely fine. And I'd already talked to him in person a few times about how he was feeling, and I let him know that I was there for him if he needed help with anything during the first 2 breaks. At this time, I actually decided to take a break too because I'd had a rough month in June. I uploaded like 10 times, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to understand I'm in a group. So when I record, there's like 3 or 4 other people recording. So I was in about 40 to 50 videos that month.
Damn, that's
not
crazy.
Counting the 2 hype
That's a
videos,
lot.
which are always more extensive. So I was feeling really burnt out, and I kept getting these like waves of sadness that I didn't know what to do about, but I just knew that I needed to take some time to myself and figure it out. And I'd like quickly check in with them when,
You know, I'm going to say real quick here, I think one thing we are seeing is just that, like, you know, like how, because like YouTube obviously is a really cool job. There's a lot of people that want to do it, but we are seeing heavily just the mental behind the camera stuff that comes with it. You know, I mean, I get it too. I feel like, but I don't think it's just a YouTube thing though. I feel like, you know, anybody, any job, depending on the circumstance, unless you like, I don't know, man. What would be a cool job, bro? What would be a cool job that just like nothing could go wrong, man? I always thought it'd be kind of cool to do one of those jobs where you like test out like hotels. You just like stay there for the night. But if you get a pretty bad hotel, I could see where that would be a little draining too. Plus, you never a place. Okay, just continue.
when I would bump into
Don't know
him
what I'm
around
talking
the house,
about, man.
which was fairly often because we both lived upstairs. And I actually recorded his video for him when he played Flight at the end of June. And if you guys saw Flight's reaction to Tyler's video, he talks about that day and how they were kicking it after the recordings. And Tyler told him that he had been feeling like really sad lately. And then he just kind of like brushed it under the rug and moved on. Now, I was there too, since I recorded for him. And when Flight left, we started talking about it again. And I was telling him how I'd been feeling the same shit lately. That was June 28th. And he told me that he might take another break the next week. And I was like, yeah, I think I will too. So when he sent the message, yeah, I just liked it, but there was way more to it than that. And a few days after that, the first day of my week off, I was talking to him about like helping him get a credit card because that's one of the things he wanted to accomplish during the break is establishing credit. And we made plans to do it later that day.
Damn, you paid everything with cash?
He texted me and canceled. And then the other part of this text is him asking me to be in a video with Chris after he came back from the break. And we eventually recorded this video, but it never got posted, which happened many more times because he was wanting to switch up his content, but wasn't liking anything that he was making. So he didn't post until this video here on August 26th, where he refers to this himself.
Something else that I've been up to for the past like 2 months is I've actually been recording videos. I have like 9 or 10 videos just sitting that are not edited or anything. The reason I haven't done anything with them is because I haven't been the happiest with my content and I really want to step it up. And I felt like those videos were kind of failures.
During the time he wasn't uploading, he told me that he was having trouble with motivation.
I was kind of lacking some motivation. I was just kind of going through the motions and I wasn't the happiest with the content I was making.
And if you're a YouTuber, you can tell when another YouTuber's having trouble with motivation. So I would like try to do little shit to cheer him up, just to like make him feel better, or like try to like lift him up or like push him to get stuff done. Quick example, I got a Lululemon sponsorship, which was one of his favorite brands, where the winner of the video would get a free outfit. So I just kept sandbagging when he was guarding me so that he would win and get the clothes.
That's pretty cool.
And here's an example of me putting in extra effort in his videos during this time and him thanking me for it. This video wasn't ever uploaded either, but it was like a nighttime escape room in the dark. We were having to use like flashlights, and I knew the footage was terrible because you couldn't see anything, but I tried my best to make it good for him and like encourage him. And I know those examples aren't anything super significant, but I was just trying anything to like cheer him up. And
yeah, and I think I'm going to give Zach the benefit of the doubt on this one. It does seem like there is times where he is reaching out, but also looking at Mopi's side of it too, where like, you know, if you're a good person 90% of the time, you know, that 10% is what people can get lost into. And that 10% is extremely significant. I mean, you know, think about anything in life, man. Like, if you have 100 people tell you, you know, great things about yourself, but you have like 2 or 3 telling you like horrible negative things, you're going to think about that 3. I mean, that's just how we are as humans, just how we're wired.
And like be more adamant about holding conversations with him just so that he would at least feel heard.
While I was not entirely open with how bad things were for me, they'll say like they didn't know and I just kept to myself. It's like I said I was taking breaks and I wouldn't upload and I wouldn't be around for weeks and like months on end, and no one checked on me for like months and months. And like my living situation, my hallway was so bad. Just everybody walks by it and thinks nothing of it, like what's going on in my room and like what I'm doing to myself in my room. And it's like it got so bad with my hallway that it could be pitch black dark, and I memorized where to step to not step on shit and get to my room. Like, and I don't want to blame my living situation and how I was treating myself on them, but I'm not having it go out there that they were supportive of me or trying to help me. Like, it was just me.
Here he's talking about us not checking on him or helping him clean his room or his hallway. Ever since I knew him, his room was always like consistently messy. So
right,
I
some
didn't
people
think
are
that
just
as anything out of the ordinary. I thought it's just how he was.
So much stuff was in my room. It was I was low-key hoarding for like years.
Now his hallway did get bad. He started buying like hella props for videos, random shit, shopping a lot. And he ran out of space in his room, so he would just like kind of throw it in this hallway of his at the top of the stairs. And yeah, every time you go upstairs, you literally walk right by it. So we would see it all the time, but it wasn't like we thought nothing of it.
As you guys can see, I have a bunch of random stuff. This is stuff that's been bought
that is like
over
a storage.
the years,
Okay.
Impulsively for videos, whatever it may be. Everything that I need to get out of my living space is in this storage unit.
We got this unit, yeah. We got all this stuff. All these video stuff.
I like that tripod
But wait.
thing. It's kind of cool.
But wait, oh! We got a second storage unit! Yeah, I wanted to show you guys, so I took out all the costumes and outfits. But yeah,
crazy.
this is what I'm
How much
working
stuff?
with for making the YouTube videos now. Before, all this stuff was either in my hallway, in my room, or just somewhere around the house, so I had to take it out.
Eventually it got to the point where it was embarrassing to even have guests over and have them go upstairs and see that. And I tried to help this dude clean up that hallway so many times, but he would always say like, oh, I don't have anywhere to put it, or just make up another excuse. My girlfriend even offered to help him because she was cleaning the whole house before she had a friend come stay back in like November of 2019. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna do it this weekend. And he never did. He finally does it like a month later, and she still acknowledged it and said she was proud of him. That's one of the only times it was clean, until he finally got this storage unit almost a year later and just threw all the shit in it after Jeff had to damn near force him to clean it with him. Throughout the video, he tries to convey this narrative that nobody was there for him, nobody supported him. And I'm gonna be honest, Tyler, I wish I would have been there for you more and helped you out more, and I know I could have done more for you, but
Respect
you can't
that.
honestly say that I didn't try. These messages are from September 27th, which was the night that Tyler told us he didn't want to do the 100 Thieves deal anymore in Discord at the end of our weekly meeting. He had never mentioned anything to a single person about having any issues with the deal before this, so it was a huge shock to everyone. And we asked him if he wanted to discuss it in person, which he agreed to. So we met at Jesse's house, and he proceeded to tell us that he didn't want to do the 100 Thieves deal. He gave like numerous reasons, and he also said that
Did we as an audience ever like find out why he didn't want to do the deal? Was it just that he just wasn't feeling it, or I don't know if did we ever like actually find all the info?
still wanted to be in the group, but that he needed a real break from everything. And this was also the first night that he finally told us about the substance abuse. He opened up more about his struggles with depression, how he was hurting himself, and how he felt distant from the group. And after the meeting, I texted him, told him I loved him no matter what. And he said he loved me too, and that he hadn't forgotten how much I had done for him. At this point, I knew shit was serious, and I told myself I would do everything I could to try to help this dude in any way possible. Like before, yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I mean, guys, straight up, like, if you got people like that in your life, I mean, even if you see, like, signals and you're like, well, that's just, like, in the ordinary. Think about, like, why, like he said with the hallway, he said that Mopi just always tend to be messy and stuff like that. So, I mean, you gotta look at that type of stuff and be like, why is this person this way? Because you would assume, like, a person, unless they, would not normally be, like, that messy. I guess maybe there is, like, really messy people out there and stuff like that, but when it gets to, like, that, like, extreme, even if that person's always been like that, that's still a problem that needs to be addressed, because it's just, like, not normal to be like that, messy with things. So I don't know, like, a lot of it, once again, seems to, I mean, I feel like the keyword been like communication. A lot of this has just come down to like communication and seeing somebody's a certain way, and I think Zach kind of said it good, where it's like there's more he could have done, and I feel like that's the case with a lot of us in life. Like, there's always more we could do. But just like when you're in the moment, you don't do it just because you don't think to until something happens.
For him, but it was just different now. Like when you have a friend sitting there telling you that they're down so bad that they're hurting themselves, like that shit made me sick to my fucking stomach, bro. And we asked him that night, like if he wanted to hang out, like try to make him feel better, but he ended up leaving. Everybody else stayed. And we were all pretty emotional about the whole situation, and we were talking. Jesse made a group chat so that we could try to figure out how to help him and make a plan to get him healthy again. And at this time, I was still living at the house. So the next day I woke him up and talked with him. We had a really good talk, and he opened up even more about a lot. He told me how he felt Jesse and Chris had changed, and he didn't feel close with Jesse anymore, and how he thought James was disrespectful, but he didn't express having any problems with me. And he also told me that he was on prescription antidepressants, but that he never really took them because he felt like they would change him.
That's what I hear, at least.
To overcome what he was dealing with using his own free will. I told him that there's probably a reason that he was described them, and he agreed to start taking them again and contact his therapist. The next couple days, I would wake up and go straight to his room and check on him, make sure he was getting out of bed, taking his medicine. We went on a couple drives, put the top down. We went and got breakfast one of the days. Like I was just doing anything to try to like get him outside and like talk to him and be there for him and just prove that like I was really there. These messages here are from the days that follow that. We had a 2 Hype shoot on the 30th. It was the Lakers versus Heat finals video that we did. And I texted him after the video late that night because I was thinking about him, and I went to his room to check on him and he wasn't there. I saw him the next day, and we made a plan to take his clothes to a wash and fold where you just drop them off in a garbage bag. They clean them, fold them for you.
Hey, yo, what?
And pick them up. He said he had some errands to run, but that he would be back later, but I never heard from him. Then the next day,
my girlfriend does all my laundry. I gotta give her props on that.
I'm gonna be busy tomorrow because I'm moving into my new place, but I'm gonna check on you in the morning before I start moving and shit. And like I'd already been packing that whole week and getting shit ready, but I was just making sure that I made time for him every single day. Even when I wasn't staying in the house anymore, like I was still checking in on him and like trying to help him. Now that was just our messages. We were still like talking in the group chat before and after that. And a couple days later, we had a group meeting for Tyler where
I think what I'm getting out of Zach from this video, I think goes back to what I said earlier, where like I don't have doubts that Zach can be like a really good person and a caring person. But once again, it does sound like, the 90%, he's doing good stuff out there, but it does seem like there's like a 10% other side that, maybe everybody has to some sort of extent. Like nobody's perfect out here. But it seems like that's the issue is like, it's like, yeah, you're doing all these nice things, but maybe there's some mean things out there that you kind of got to like own up to and hopefully, better yourself with going forward.
Everybody was there, and he showed up in a 100 Thieves jersey, one of the 100 Thieves jerseys that they sent us when we were like first in talks with them. And he expressed how he was feeling better and that he was considering doing the deal again. We had a shoot with 100 Thieves later that week on October 12th for the House Olympics video that's on their channel. And Tyler wasn't in the video, but he did come to the house and he seemed to be in good spirits. He started coming around more. And
how was he in the video?
To celebrate that weekend because my channel was about to hit 1 million. He texted me congrats and we exchanged a couple more messages, but those would be the last messages until after he was back from rehab. We had a meeting on the 18th, and this is the one that Cash talked about in his video where Jesse got really emotional. Tyler told us that he was thinking about the deal again. He didn't want to do it. He decided that it wasn't for him. And he also told us that he was going to take an extended break from YouTube and from the group, and that he was going to check himself into rehab. His plan was to get sober and then take a few months off, then come back to the group if he decided that's what he wanted to do or when he was ready. We told him to take as much time as he needed, that we'd be here waiting for him. He said that he would make...
I do think another thing that's kind of important to point out too is that, we are hearing a lot of the stuff how he was before rehab. And, I've never met anybody personally that's been to rehab, but I hear that once you make that choice is like when you are typically at rock bottom. So we have to you also have to put in perspective, like it's almost like two different Mopis. It's like the pre-rehab, which is just, he's down bad. Post-rehab, or maybe not all the problems are solved. I don't think rehab is the answer to everything. But also some of the choices he makes after rehab is him with maybe more of a clear mind at that point. Or a different perspective. So we have to keep, I feel like that's a very important part of the story is we got to think of it you know, Mopi in two different ways and two different mindsets.
Make a post on social media explaining everything so that the fans wouldn't be left in the dark. He ended up just posting an IG story saying he was taking a break, and then he texted us this right before he left.
That's how YouTube works. That's how the online scene works. Like, they just block out the hate and just carry on. Like, check this out. These are the blocked words on the 2Hype channel.
Yeah, this I never
It's
really
a lot of
bothered
shit.
me at all.
You can't comment anything negative. They don't allow any negativity. It's like, I'm not being a part of this.
Yeah, this did not bother me one bit. I think Cash really summed this up pretty nicely, where it's like, you know, there's a lot of freaking like just jerks in the comment section, and there's just certain words out there and certain things where people are just clearly trying to get like a response, or just like really just trying to get to you. And it's like, yeah, you don't want to see that every single day. So this right here, a lot of people made a big deal about this. Did not bother me personally one bit.
This censorship of the people. Like, you can't criticize when you get blocked, and it's so dumb. It's nothing I want to be a part of.
This makes no sense at all. Censorship of the people sounds like some conspiracy shit. Like, I don't know. Every YouTuber has a blacklist. Every streamer has mods. Nobody wants to sit there and just read comparisons and hate and negativity.
Yep, I agree with that.
Like, that shit is so bad for you mentally. And I find it really hard to believe that's how you feel when you're the one that suggested to the group that we blacklist hate on the channel. And I was told his name would be added when we joined 100 Thieves because we knew people would see he wasn't part of it and they would ask what's happening, and he never made a permanent post letting people know what was going on. We weren't going to put his business out there, so we just made the statement that we made.
Yeah, I think 2Hype, you know, if Mopi was not going to agree to like make like his own statement, I feel like 2Hype should have said something. And there's a way to address information without letting out the personal business. You know, back when I worked, you know, my corporate jobs, stuff like that, you would just see like, hey, like, I mean, like a big name in the company, it'd be like, hey, so and so is no longer with us, and that was it. People would ask questions for a little bit, but eventually it's just like, yeah, it's not really our business. So that's 2Hype's fault right there. They should have said something, you know, because this does just make it look bad, like you're just trying to kind of like phase him out without saying anything, which he was a big part of the group. So
made at the end of the Among Us video on the 2Hype
this might be an hour-long video, man. Yo,
and
here I go
say
again.
Later in this next clip that you yourself don't like seeing that. It's obviously out of context, but again, the sentiment is the same.
Like, we want to know, we want the people to know what the truth is for ourselves, so that we don't see like comments, like not knowing what's really going on and things up in the air and assumptions made.
And this right here is the last clip that Tyler mentions me in.
And just more nasty, weird stuff that I saw in rehab made my decision of leaving much, much easier. Because that's a big reason why I went to rehab. I wanted to get sober and decide if I wanted to be a part of stuff or not.
I tweeted this because I was watching the video and I was thinking about you, bro. You were in rehab at this point, and I was under the assumption that we were cool going off the last time we had talked. This wasn't to try to make myself look good. I had no reason to do that. None of this video is meant to devalue Tyler's feelings. He has a right to feel however he wants.
Sure.
At the end of the day, I feel like all this could have been solved with communication. I don't have any animosity
100%.
towards you, Tyler. I got no problems with you. I still love you. I'm still here if you need anything. And I sincerely apologize if I ever made you feel like you were alone or hurt your feelings, bro. I'm sorry. I wish I could have been there more for you. I wish I could have done more for you. I wish I could have been better for you. And hopefully one day we can resolve all this. Moving on to TD's video.
Okay, so 23 minutes there. That's what it took to respond to Mopi. I'm going to be 100% honest, guys. I feel like out of all the videos we've seen so far from 2Hype, you know, Jester, Jidel, Zach, or not Zach, LSK, although I don't know if he's going to do a new one because his other one was deleted, but like, that last part right there, that seemed like a genuine apology. I mean, that did seem to own up. And I think this has been well constructed so far, where, you know, he has kind of like, let's say, and you know, what Mopi says, what Zach says about these two sides, I mean, there's not like 100% truth. It's always about like interpretation, right? That's the thing about math. Like 1 + 1 is always going to be 2. But that's the thing about stories like this, where it's like, sometimes there just isn't a truth. It's just misinterpretation. So, and that was a nice apology at the end right there. I'm happy he threw that in there. That was good. So, yeah, I'm going to give him respect on that.
So now I'm going to be quick with this one. Most of this stuff was years ago, and I don't blame TD for making a video. He hasn't really said much over the years. And if he feels like he needs to get his side out there to feel better or to bring hate to us, that's fine. I can take it. Now, TD's not a bad person. None of these dudes are. And he really did do a lot for us in lining up the Yorba Linda house. And I never really had any glaring issues with him as a person. With that being said, there are some lies and manipulation in the video that he dropped that I'm gonna address, starting with what he says here in the beginning.
I'm not gonna go, take a deep dive into the group chat and, show like gossip and try and take text and manipulate them and try and, twist the story. I'm not gonna do any of that. And I'm not gonna be like Chris and put text up on screen and try and manipulate them.
This is just funny because this is exactly what you do multiple times throughout the video, just like this next part.
I thought everything was good. And then just one day, out of the blue, I get to call that I'm kicked out of the group. Not only did I feel blindsided and betrayed, bro, to hear them saying they were starting a group channel, which is like something I always talked about with them and something I always pushed for, and they didn't want to do it.
Here's the first example of you doing this. You black out my last name, but you leave the message there, knowing it looks really bad out of context and has literally nothing to do with the point you're trying to make in that clip. And you did this on purpose to further your narrative that I'm some complete piece of shit person. And now I have people spamming me crazy shit because they think I made fun of a Make-A-Wish kid. Here's the full text so that you guys can see for yourselves. Now I will say that...
Yo, is that lost and unbound? Bro, it's what? I'm so confused. Okay. Okay.
Even though I wasn't making fun of someone in the Make-A-Wish program, it was still extremely distasteful to use that as an insult, and I apologize for that.
Oh, he called Lost a Make-A-Wish kid. Ooh. Yeah, that's not nice to say to somebody. That's not nice to say.
Moved back to California.
It's not nice.
To be close to you guys, and so I could be in the group, and so we could do videos together. These people told me that the plan was they're gonna get like this huge house in Calabasas and that I would have a spot back in the house.
I don't know who the hell told you that, but it was never a group discussion. Also, you already had a place with your girlfriend in Newport and we're getting a second place with Walker and his brother, so that claim literally makes no sense.
And then also I was getting with the landlord's daughter that created all this awkward tension. I don't know what he's grasping at here or what he's, again, trying to manipulate. So we moved into this house. I had a good relationship with the landlords. They had 2 daughters. The whole family, successful, smart. He's trying to twist and manipulate this story. I never even held hands with this girl. So as far as anything to that extent, just completely untrue.
And here's a 4K picture of the landlord's daughter at the SneakerCon basketball game that you brought her to in July of 2017. She's sitting on the bench beside me and Brie Martinez. She's holding the jersey that you gave her before the game. You also posted a picture with her wearing the jersey and your arm around her on the IG feed, not story, Instagram feed, which is unfortunately now deleted. But if you were a fan back then you remember. She was over at the house multiple times, many of which you were alone in your room. And all of which is really weird to do with someone you didn't even hold hands with.
I guess I'm failing to see the big deal about it, though. Regardless, unless it just, like... I mean, I'm going to assume she's, like, a grown person and can make her own, like, choice and stuff like that. But maybe it was just, like, one of those, like, hey, like, unprofessional, I suppose. But, like, it's the landlord, I mean, rents out the house, business.
Stolen from me. So I see them start the group channel. And they start with a house tour, a house that I was promised a room in. And they're showing off things that were mine. Now, I'm not going to say like Jaidel's, the bed I gave to Jaidel. I'm not going to talk about the fire pit that I bought because those things were for the group. But personal items like monitors and, like my weights and stuff like that, things that were mine, they just kept. And they're showing them off in the group video, and I asked for these things back.
Our new gym. This is our gym. So yeah, this is our in-at-home gym. This is a work in progress. It's not done yet, but we literally just got all this stuff like a week ago.
You gotta take a hallway to get here.
This is another blatant lie. First off, the only 2 things in that weight room that used to be yours are this bench right here and these 2 dumbbells over here. Okay. Both of which you left at the old house even after you moved back to California and could have easily got them. You never asked for them back, and when the lease was up, you never came to get them. You just left.
Okay, yeah, I would say that's pretty good context right there, because like when I first saw this clip, my thing with LSK was like, he's calling like all of TD stuff his, but if it's like two things where it's like you could see where it's like, yeah, we got like all this stuff, like that would be weird from like a video standpoint, be like, we got all this stuff, but those weights and that thing over there were like TD's. Okay, so I get that. That was good clarification.
Left them there for us to deal with.
But I could also see where TD would be pissed off about it too, though, because like that's his stuff too.
The dumbbells were broken. I was the last one in that house, and the day that I moved out, I cleaned off the bench and washed it. I fixed the dumbbells and bent back the little metal pieces that were broken, loaded them into my moving truck, and I took them to the new house. The rest of that stuff, we literally got about a week before the video was filmed. Now, I don't know what monitors you're talking about, but the posters that you say we stole, you literally left at the Yorba Linda house too. The only one you came to get was this rocket poster that you have hanging on your wall now. And here's the messages between us to prove that. When you came to get it, you literally said you didn't want the other posters because you were going to get new ones. But you were unable to find another rocket poster like you say here in the text. So that's the only one you took. You could have gotten the rest of your stuff too, but you didn't.
As a matter of fact, I was still in charge of handling, the electric side of utilities
TD parents.
Until they kicked me out. And I was still making sure that utilities were being paid. There was even times where they would text me and be like, hey, TD, our water isn't on today. What's going on? I'm trying to figure out what's happening because I paid the water bill. Well, you need to get an annual water test in California. I'm across the country taking care of my mom and still doing things like this to help the group out.
While I appreciate what you did, bro, nobody asked you to do it. All you had to do was call the utility companies, tell them you didn't live there anymore and take it out of your name. Then one of us would have to call them and put it in our name. Right. And here are the messages of Chris and I handling the water situation, not you.
You're on the other side of me, getting kicked out. So in your opinion, was this like business or was this personal?
It was for sure business, but they tried to tie in like whatever little personal stuff they could to try to make it seem less about the business. But it was going from 9 people to 6 and cutting out shares for everyone in the company.
Obviously, this is just hearsay and it's complete bullshit. There had never even been a discussion about shares in the company at this point, and everybody in the group agreed that it was best for the group to move forward without Los, TD, and Mao. Like any decision, it was a mixture of business and personal, but only business in the sense that the vision that we had for
business
the group channel
be personal.
And what we wanted to do as a group, we felt like would be more easily accomplished without them in the group, which again, everybody agreed on.
God.
Yeah, I mean, the issue I have with that statement is not everybody agreed on it because, the people that got kicked out clearly don't agree on it. So, which is why we're kind of here in the first place. So.
Up and try and take text and manipulate them and try and, twist the story. I'm not going to do any of that. But here's just a few of them. And like I said, these are between Chris and Zach. Zach texts Chris saying, dude, shit's crazy. And I know he be nasty host too. Chris responds with, yeah, taking whatever he can. Laugh my ass off. Zach then followed it up with, exactly. Sheesh. Here's another one. Zach texts Chris saying, did you get a long ass text from Lewis? Chris says, laugh my ass off. Yep, gotta love it. Best apology yet, haha. Zach says, laugh my ass off, bro. I don't even know what to say to him at this point. I think he's only saying this because he saw the stuff we've been putting on Twitter. Well, that's interesting because Chris also complained about us putting out subliminal messages. You kind of are admitting right there that that's what you did to Los, and that's why he sent you an apology. Chris says, I haven't responded yet, but yeah, most likely laugh my ass off. And Zach says, I haven't either. I've already said all I can say like 20 times at this point, LOL. And Chris said, yep, I think I'm a...
Sorry, guys, I don't really have a lot to say this part right here because we've already gone over this myself, so that's why I'm not like responding like what TD says in this case. I'm waiting to see what Zach says.
Say that, haha.
I know the first clip was out of context, but it still applies as it's a blatant contradiction. He blacks out a huge chunk of that first text, leading people to believe that I said something super fucked up, but it was literally just a joke. Here's the full text so that you guys can see exactly what we were talking about. And for the second part, this is the tweet that we were referring to. It was nothing subliminal like you claim. And like we said in the text, we had already been down this road with Los before. And the apology was for not working to his full potential, not for anything he did to us, because honestly, he didn't do anything to us. and he never.
I guess real quick here, just go back like 10 seconds ago, we said like it was a joke. It's more like an insult. Like I said, joke. I mean, I feel like the word joke sometimes get tossed around a little bit too loosely. Like sometimes things can be a joke, but it's like the way people can take it, it's like that wasn't a joke. That was just like a mean statement you said.
Never really did. Now, regardless, it was shitty to even say anything behind his back. I don't know what my problem was.
Which makes it not
back
a joke,
then. I
in
think
my
I
opinion.
was just unhappy with myself and some of the situations I was in, and I would project that onto Lewis, but no matter the reason, it was fucked up. And when everything went down a couple years ago with Los and he found out that I was talking behind his back, I made up a bunch of lame-ass excuses instead of just owning up to it. Now, I did apologize to him back then. Here's the message I sent, and that was the last time I spoke to him, but I don't blame him for not accepting it because the message is literally right above it were me trying to make excuses. Right. But I did mean what I said, and I want to apologize to him again. Los, I'm sorry, bro. I fucked up and then tried to blame you when it wasn't your fault. We had a good-ass friendship and a lot of genuine times together. Like, I'd be traveling for work and I would go to Jersey in between jobs to kick it with him on some like real shit. Like a lot of times we wouldn't even stream. We would just go hoop or like chill in the attic. I met his family, who I also owe an apology to, Jake and his dad, for doing that to their brother and son. I'm sorry to y'all too. I still got love for you, bro. You're one of the most entertaining streamers on any platform. And I'm sorry for the betrayal, man. And I wish you nothing.
Yeah, I think that's also like another thing we're kind of seeing here too, is that, you know, what's leading up to these apologies and stuff like that. I mean, it's fantastic he's apologizing and stuff, but still, you could just see like when you, I mean, we're only seeing like probably the tip of the iceberg of stuff that's probably going on with these guys personally. So, I don't know, like you can see where somebody would not like want nothing to do with you, or even like your apology, because like I mean, apologies is just words, man. Like, you know, like actions and everything like that. That's the big time. You know, that's the big time thing. It sounds like there was a lot of negative actions up in here, so. I mean, you know, good for him on apologizing. It seems like Zach is trying to be a better person. But still, there's still things in the past that are probably just going to haunt you forever, unfortunately. That's just kind of how things go. Like, we are who we are.
But the best. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is the leaked Discord call. Supposedly an old friend of Jesse's leaked it, but it was TD who recorded it and leaked it. Now TD was at his house, but we were all in the same room at the 2 Hype house on one phone in a private Discord.
Okay.
Why the fuck would some random friend of Jesse's be in a call where we're telling a member of the group that we don't want him in the group anymore? And in the clip,
that's true.
You can see him looking at his monitor when he's talking about it because he has the full call right there. And then he acts surprised when it got leaked on Twitter, like, come on, bro, you're not fooling anyone with that shit. And everyone took turns talking on this call, but it was only Chris and I's part that got leaked because we're supposed to be the villains here.
Well, I'm going to assume too that, you know, the reason, like, cause like my mind says like, it's like, why didn't TD just like say that this was a phone call he recorded? But from like a legal standpoint, that's probably like you're probably not allowed to do that, right? But then again, it's like then the Jester's friend or whoever it was would get the blame on that. So yeah, that part kind of confused me. I think regardless, I don't really care how it got leaked. It's what was said, but it sounds like we're about to get more context into it.
And I'm going to play audio for you guys that end up getting leaked. And I really wish the entire conversation was out there because it would have looked a whole lot worse. But we're going to play what we got.
Tight schedule that we're going to start.
All right, I don't want to hear this part again. I've heard so many times.
Like, and then like, you wanted to be like, focus on, yeah, we
heard it so many times, guys. Sorry, man.
Dumbest shit we ever did. Now, I said that I didn't want any negativity going towards them or towards us. And I thought that's what we were doing by going about it this way. But looking back, let's be honest, we were just trying to cover our own asses because what we were doing was dumb as fuck. It was a bitch move, and we should have just been honest with them, been transparent with y'all, and just dealt with whatever repercussions we got because of our actions. Simple. I apologize to you guys, Los, TD, and Mal for that shit. We went about it completely the wrong way. But everybody's doing their thing. Mal's doing his thing. TD's doing his thing. Los is killing it on Twitch. Mopi's going to do his thing and hopefully stay healthy. And I just hope that we can deal with this situation and everyone can move forward amicably. And I owe one more apology. That's to you guys, the fans, and everyone that supports us. I'm sorry for not being fully transparent in these situations and handling them the wrong way, which in turn caused all this shit and made you guys feel like you had to pick sides. And I don't blame you guys for judging me or sending hate messages because on the surface, it did look really bad. But I just hope this video gave
I would
you
say
guys some
it still
insight.
is
But I'm gonna get
bad.
back to work, get back to putting out content.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the video right there. Yeah, I guess just kind of like the TLDR, if you skip to the end right here, is just like, for me, this video, I do appreciate that Zach did own up to a lot of things, but I think by him owning it up, because a lot of us were like, just kind of like, you know, is any of the stuff true? Is half of it true? Like, what percentage of this is true? It sounds like a lot of the bad things that Zach did were in fact true, and he realizes his mistakes now. But from that mindset, we now know why. It's like, hey, like, the other members of 2Hype that were kicked out, they had every damn right to be pissed off about things. So, yeah, I do like that this is not a video of Zach really, like, twisting stuff or anything. He is owning up to mistakes and giving context into situations, but it seems like a lot of the bad was, in fact, true. So, you know, we as people definitely, and them as 2Hype, like, just have, like, a right to still be pissed off about it. But, you know, like I said, I don't really have anything against anybody at 2Hype. I don't really have anything against anyone. It's just, maybe I'm going to assume this is probably the end of that. I don't think we're going to hear more about it, but who knows? What do you guys think? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Hopefully everybody can move on. You know, YouTube at the end of the day is about making content, making other people happy, and just entertaining people out there. So let's get back to that. You know, in the meantime, you know, let our personal stuff, like, take care of it like grown-ass men, and go from there, man. That's all I got. Were we an hour in? 51 minutes. It was almost an hour. It was also short. It was 37 minutes. So, not bad. Not bad.